with us. Yai, lai, yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, 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 ya, la, la, ya, la, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's so wonderful that we get to spend this incredible, beautiful afternoon together. For those of you who I don't know, I'm Rabbi Jeremy Gimbel, along with Rabbi Jason Navarez and Peter Walsh and David Estrin and the entire Soifer family. It's so wonderful for us to end Shabbat together, celebrating this incredible simcha, this beautiful, joyous moment in Gabrielle's life and in the life of her family and in the life of this community, as well as in the life of the entire Jewish people. If this is your first time at Congregation Beth Israel, hopefully you have your prayer book in front of you. It is called Mishkan Tefillah. Hopefully it says Shabbat on it. If it says something else, I'm going to recommend now is a great time to head back into the foyer and get yourself the right prayer book, because it's not weekday or festival. We are in Shabbat, and that is the prayer book that we're going to be using. Many of the prayers that we are going to be offering today, that when we offer them communally, some of them will be offered on our screens. If you're joining us virtually, we hope that you will use every opportunity to participate, joining not only Gabrielle's family, welcome, so glad to have you, as well as all those who are joining us from around the world, from the Philippines to Bolivia to Town Center Drive, those who are joining us. We're so glad to be together. The best thing that you can do today is to participate in any way that you are able to. If you are able to join us in all of the prayers in Hebrew, wonderful. If you can join in English, even better. And if all you can join with us in is Yai Lai, that's great. We're going to be together and celebrate this special moment together. And we do that in song. We turn to page 70 for Hine Matov Umanaim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, how good it is that we are together. Hine Matov Umanaim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine matov Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine matov Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
As we enter into a formal, prayerful moment, you'll see that the rabbis, some of us in our congregation, are enveloped in what we call a talit. And the talit are made of all different kinds of design and fabric, but they all have one thing in common, which is the tzitzit. The fringes and the strings and the knots represent commandedness, they represent responsibility. And I always say that the more worn they appear, the more in fashion they are. Because the essence is to remind us that when we enter into this sacred space, wherever you are in the Jewish world, whether it's in Sao Paulo or Hong Kong or right here in San Diego, that we're reminded that when we're enveloped in this, that we're taking on a sense of awe, a sense of responsibility, and that we're striving to live just. And so Gabrielle is going to be presented with her own talit in a moment by her parents, so that she will now fully embrace this understanding of personal and collective responsibility. And it is a privilege and an honor. And so I delight in calling upon Jennifer and Harris to join us on the bima along with Gabrielle as they present her with her talit and they offer her their own words of blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatev bat tzitzit.
Amen.
Gabrielle, we are so proud of all the hard work you've put in to get here today. It's been a very big year for you. Your bat mitzvah, your 13th birthday, first year of middle school, you got your black belt. I can't imagine how much hard work you put in, but you've certainly succeeded.
So I have about 12 and a half more minutes to give the speech, so I'll go very slowly. I'm just so proud of being able to hear you practice your Hebrew, walk down the hall and not even have to ask. It's probably the first time I've had to not ask you to practice something, and I think that means that you're really dedicated to it and that you're enjoying it. And we really like to see you practice and learn your Hebrew. Very proud of you.
There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if we are horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our goal and justice is our duty and better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We begin by chanting responsively the Psalms of Ashrei on page 220. Ashrei Ashrei Vetecha, Olecha L'chasela.
Ashrei ha'am shekachalo, Ashrei ha'am sh'Adonai Elohav.
Tehillah leDavid, Aramimcha Elochaicha Melech, V'var'archa Shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Bechol yom avarchecha, v'halala shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Gadol Adonai Chamchol Omed, V'ligdolatu en chaker.
Dor ledor yishabach ma'asecha, u'gvurotecha yagidu.
Hadar kavod hodecha, V'divrei niflotecha asicha.
Ve'zuz noratecha yomeru, u'gdulatecha asaprena.
Zecher rabtucha yibiu, V'tzikatecha yeranenu.
Chanun v'rachum Adonai, erech apayim ugdol chesed.
Tovanai leko, V'chamav kol ma'asav.
Yoduch Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'chasidecha yivarchucha.
Kovo malchut hayameru, Ugvartecha yedabreru.
Lehodia lifnei Adam gvurotav, וכבוד הדר מלכותו.
מלכותך מלכות עולמים, אמן שתך בכל דור ודור.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים.
עיני כל אליך יסבררו, ואתה נותן לכם עולם ביטו.
פותח את ידיך, ומשביע לכל חי רצון.
צדיק אדוני בכל דברך, ועשת בכל מעשיו.
קרוב אדוני לכל קורב, לכל אשר יכרעו באמת.
רצון יראיו יעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע יושיעם.
שומר אדוני את קורביו, ואת כל הרשעים ישמיד.
תהילה אדוני ידבר פי, וריח כל בשר שם כושר עולם ועד.
ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם, הללויה.
Page 227. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits. God will prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. Please rise and turn to page 226 for the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach uvi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת זרע. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, נחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע. מוריד אתה, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומינו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו אדיר אדירנו אדוני. רחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Page 233. And who is wise? The one who learns from everyone. And who is mighty? One who controls one's urges. And who is rich? One who is happy with what one has. You may be seated. Please turn to page 235. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and hands, we give praise.
For the peace in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For the gift of Shabbat, which renews us for blessing, we offer blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Page 237. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in the study of Torah. Let us feed on your love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near life in peace and in joy. Baruch atah Adonai she'otcha levadcha v'yirah na'avod. Page 239. For the gift of our souls, for the promise of our life, for all we are and all we might yet become, for the creative seeds sown within our minds, whose nurturing can yield a grand harvest. For all these gifts, we thank you, O God, and pray that we prove ourselves worthy.
May our lives be ripe with the fruit of compassion, sweetly sustaining those in need. May we use our gifts wisely and with love, true messengers of blessing to the world. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulchana'eh lehodot.
Please turn to page 240 and join me in our prayer for peace. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon, Shalom, ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה לשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים
Create a pure heart within me. Let my soul wake you in your light. Open me to your presence. Flood me with your Holy Spirit. Then I will stand and sing out the power of your forgiveness. I will teach your love to the lonely. The lost will find their way home. Adonai, open up my lips and my mouth will declare your praise. Please take a few moments for a silent prayer and reflection.
As we approach our Torah service, shortly we will stand before the open ark and witness a ritual which has symbolically been happening since the days of Moses and the Israelites wandering the desert. Our tradition teaches that when Moses came down from Mount Sinai, he not only held the tablets of the Ten Commandments, but he held with him the entirety of Torah, everything from what is written in the first 5 books of our Bible, the words of the prophets, the writings, all the way through all the rabbinic commentaries and how we light our Shabbat candles and how we interpret Torah and how we live our lives. And so in a moment we will call up Gabrielle and her parents and grandparents, and we will pass the Torah into her arms. And as she takes the Torah in her arms, she also takes on the weight of the mitzvot, of the commandments, and of the idea of continuity in the Jewish people. Seder Kriyat Torah can be found on page 246. We invite you to please rise as we call Paul, Marilyn, Terry, and Sally, Jennifer, and Harris, along with Gabrielle, to stand before our open ark. Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemu. Gadol Adonai iti, uneromema Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula, ve'hagegura, ve'hatiferet, ve'hanetzach, ve'hamod. Ki hol hashamayim u'va'aretz, ki hol hashamayim u'va'aretz, lecha Adonai ha'mamlacha, ve'ani na'aseh lechol lerosh. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishachavu le'akodsho. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishachavu le'akodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Okay, I was waiting. Are you here? Are you here? I'm wondering what's going on. Very quiet hakafa. Yeah, it's San Diego. It's 80 degrees. It's beautiful. Those who are visiting, joyous. Let's say joyous. This is a simcha, so we can be certainly joyous in this moment. And all of your voices ring in song and enjoy together. And here we are, as we begin ending Shabbat, as Rabbi Gimbel reminded us at the beginning of our service, we are also anticipating next week. And so, in our tradition, when we read the Torah from our sacred scroll in the afternoons of Shabbat, we are already reading next week's portion because we are anticipating the week to come. And so we are reading from an incredible Torah portion that Gabrielle will talk more about after she chants her Torah this afternoon, which is called Parshat Re'eh in the book of Deuteronomy. Lirot in Hebrew means to see, and this is about seeing, and it's about vision, and it's about Moses preparing the Israelites to enter into this promised land that they have never been to, this generation that's entering. And they're learning the do's and don'ts. They're learning how to live as part of a community. But one of the most amazing things about this week's Torah portion in particular is that what Moses is reminding the Israelites are things that were never thought possible when they were enslaved. Things like when we talk about the idea of retribution and giving to the community, in ways that we talk about taking care of one another, in ways that we talk about what does it mean when we hurt one another, how do we make it fair and just? Things that could never have been possible in enslavement, this week we are learning in great ways. It is powerful indeed. We're learning against those things about debt remissions, those things that happen in the ways in which we release slaves from enslavement, not thought possible. But the Torah became a book of possibility. It became a scripture of wonder, of potential, of a reminder that we were slaves, but we will never be again, and we will never enact the ways in which we were treated. And so this week is another reminder that we're supposed to shift the ways in which our society thinks. And this is actually the first democratic document that there ever was in society. And so we hold on to the major tenets and foundations, and Gabrielle stands up here proud and joyful to hold those sacred teachings and strivings as she continues along her journey. And one of the blessings that we have, if hearing the reading of the Torah is new to you, you'll see people coming up and going down and saying blessings before and after, and that's called an aliyah, where they're ascending, that means to raise up, to stand up, and to ascend. We're ascending the bima so they can come and bless the readings that Gabrielle is about to endeavor on. Again, we are reading from Parshat Re'eh, from Deuteronomy, beginning on chapter 14, verse 27. And for our first aliyah over the Torah, I delight in calling upon Paul and Marilyn Seufer.
Yamdu Perez Eli ben Natalie Hirsch, Masha Perel bat David Harishon.
Baruch Hu es Adonai HaMavorach.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher borcha bonu mikol horamim. V'nosan lonu et Torah. Baruch Atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'halevi asher bisharecha lo ta'azvenu ki ein lo helek v'nachala imach miksei shalosh shanim totzim et kol ma'asar tavuatecha b'shana chahi v'nachta bisharecha Uvachalevi ki ein lo helek v'nachala imach v'chager v'chayaton v'amanach asher bisharecha v'achlu v'saveu l'man yivrechecha Adonai Elohecha v'chol ma'aseh yadecha asher ta'aseh.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher nosan lonu toras emes. V'chayei olam nota b'suchenu. Baruch Atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
For our second aliyah over the Torah, I delight in calling upon Terry and Sally Tate.
Yamdu Tovia Ruvain ben Mordechai Ubasha, Shendel bat Yitzchak v'Leah Hasheni.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. מקץ 7 שנים תעשה שמיטה, וזה דברך שמיטה, שמות כל באו מאשר ידו, אשר ישב ברעהו, לא יגוץ את רעהו ואת אחי, כי קרא שמתה לאדוני, את הנוכרי תגוץ, ואשר יהיה לך את אחיך תשמט ידך.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natah b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
For our third Aliyah, delight in calling upon Jennifer and Harris.
Yamdu Yocheved Pesel Bet Tovia Ruvain Veshendel Naftali Hirsch Ben Perez Eli V'Masha Perel Hashlishi.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Efes ki lo hishevecha evion ki bareis avarechecha Adonai ba'aretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach nachala larishta. Rakib shamo atishma b'kol Adonai Elohecha lishmar la'asot et kol hamitzvah hayom asher anochi mitzavecha hayom ki Adonai Elohecha barech ka'asher diber lach v'chaveteta goyim rabim ufta lo ta'avot umashalta begoyim rabim uvechaloim sholu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
And for the blessing and reading over our fourth Aliyah, I delight in calling upon our bat mitzvah, Gabrielle Sadie Soifer.
Ta'amod, ta'amod, ta'amod. Tova Sarah bat Yocheved Pesel v'Naftali Hirsch. Bachura bat mitzvah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki hieh vecha evyon ma'acharechecha va'achad sha'arecha ba'artzecha asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach lo ta'amet et lavevecha ve'lo tikpot et yadecha ma'achicha ha'evyon כי פתוח תפתח את ידיך לו וכבד תעביתנו Veche Machzoro Aser Yasar Lo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chei olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
And whenever we reach a new moment of joy and blessing in our tradition, we say the words of Shechianu and we join together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
This time I'd like to call upon Harris and Alan and Max Seufer to hold and dress our Torah. I invite you to please rise.
Yamdu hamagbiya v'hagolelim.
Remember, use your knees.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל. אני אדוני ביד משה. יללי לי 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 יללי לי 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 יללי לי לי יללי לי לי Yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. You may be seated. Every week as every Shabbat, we get to add an additional concluding section of text from the words of our prophets. And generally, those words are thematic. They tie into the themes of whatever Torah portion we have just read. However, during certain times in the year, we have haftarot that are timely as opposed to thematic. They're thematic, but more about the calendar than about the Torah portion. And this, the haftarah portion for Re'eh is no different. It is from the book of Isaiah. And in the traditional haftarah reading for this week, it comes from this theme of consolation after the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. This is, in fact, the third week in a series of 7 from Tisha B'Av that connect Tisha B'Av and Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the new year. There are 4 main ideas contained in these verses from Isaiah. One, Jerusalem will not only one day be rebuilt, but its walls will also be encrusted with gemstones, superseding the original beauty of the city. Two, any weapon that is wielded against the inhabitants of this future Jerusalem will not succeed, indicating peace and security. Three, Isaiah calls upon his audience to accept his wisdom, which will satisfy their hunger and thirst as opposed to their current idolatry, which leaves them empty. And four, he finally promises a future ruler from the house of David based on, quote, an everlasting covenant when nations they do not even know will come to show tribute and honor God. At the moment the speech is being delivered, Jerusalem is an unhappy, storm-tossed soul with none to find comfort. But Isaiah paints a picture of a future Jerusalem restored, representing beauty, peace, wisdom, and glory. We must never give up that hope for such a future for all of us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar vivim tovim ve'rantzah b'nifrechem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Havocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Hatu eznechem uchu elai shim'u utechi nafshechem ve'echrata lechem barit olam chasdei David hana'emanim. Hein eid le'umim natati nagid savei le'umim. Hein goy lo teda tikra vegoy lo yadaucha elecha yarutzu lema'an Adonai Elohecha v'likdosh Yisrael ki ve'erach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Zur kol chalamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, haya haneman, haomer ve'oseh, umdober umkayeh, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. Al haTorah, val avodah, van hanvim, vam yom hashabach hazeh, sheratatan lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, l'ukdushav limanucha, lekavod utifaret, al kol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, umarchim otecha, yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai, tamid ulam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
This time I'd like to call upon Helen and Gary Kress to open the Ark doors as we continue together, returning the Torah to the Ark, singing together It's Chaim Hi. Will you please rise?
It's Chaim Hi lemagazikim bach v'tomcheha meushar deracheha darchei Noah v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nah
Okay. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'd like to welcome you to Congregation Beth Israel, where we come together today to celebrate my bat mitzvah. Parashah Ra'eh is a Torah portion that contains commandments Moses knew were important to help the Jewish people get to the land of Israel. Parashah Ra'eh is a group of speeches that Moses writes before his death, providing the Israelites important instructions worshiping one God, being charitable, and following kosher law. Moses explains that the people who followed the commandments would be blessed, but those that chose not to obey the rules would be cursed. For me, the best way to understand my Torah portion was to ask, how did something Moses wrote over 3,000 years ago affect my life as a 13-year-old in the 21st century? By reading the English translation of my Torah portion and talking it through by Rabbi Gamble, plus maybe a little bit help from Google, I found a few common themes in Moses' speeches that I could relate to. For example, I believe the commandments to establish a consensual sanctuary to worship one God, follow kosher law, and observe the Sabbath, and certain festivals were intended to create a stronger community amongst the different Israelite tribes by having everyone follow one set of rules about how to be Jewish. To me, as a 21st century Jewish girl, these commandments are more important because they help me distinguish what it means to be Jewish from various other religions of my friends. And while I may like Shake Shack a little too much to keep 100% kosher, and do not always sing Shabbat Shalom on Friday nights, I can appreciate the discipline needed to keep kosher and Shabbat. In relating to Moses' teachings to my life, I look to my experiences in Tang Sudo, a form of martial arts from Korea, where I've achieved the rank of Dan, which is a first-degree black belt. To become a Dan, I dedicated myself to 4.5 years of training, 3 days a week, including weekends and throughout COVID. This required a similar discipline and adherence to a single set of rules that I needed to follow in order to become a part of the Tang Sudo black belt community. I feel this is very similar to what Moses was trying to teach the Jewish people. Another idea that Moses talks about and that relates to my life is following the laws of tithing, which means setting aside one's income to give back to those in need. This idea is another personal aspect of my life because it demonstrates my bat mitzvah project. My bat mitzvah project is NEGU, created by the Jessie Reese Foundation. The Jessie Reese Foundation was started by a 12-year-old girl named Jessie Reese. Jessie had cancer and always talked about how to never give up, or NEGU, during her fight with cancer. She discovered that many kids in the hospital did not have any toys to bring them joy. So Jessie decided to gather her toys from her home and put them into jars she called joy jars and give them to kids who were too sick to leave the hospital. When I reach $6,000 in donations, I will have a joy jar party with my friends and stuff 200 joy jars that the Reese Foundation will send to kids currently in the hospitals all around the country. I would like to close by first thanking everyone who is here to celebrate my bat mitzvah. I would also like to thank Rabbi Navarez for helping me understand my Torah portion, Rabbi Gimbel for helping my Devar Torah be more relevant and relatable to me, Rabbi Cantor Bernstein for helping me chant and read my Torah portion. It takes a village, so a special thank you to Elisa Ram and Cheryl Katz for helping me lock down my Hebrew prayers and Torah portion. I must also thank my religious school teachers and friends where I first learned Hebrew and continued to learn about Judaism. I would also like to thank my brother, Max, who are one of my biggest supporters and one of my best friends. As Mom and Dad said, you will always be my brother, and I will always be your sister. We can never get out of it. Finally, I'd like to thank my parents. My parents have always been there for me. They support me, encourage me to work hard and try my best. They nag me when I slack or procrastinate. They continue to help me achieve my dreams, teach me right from wrong, and hold me accountable even as I learn to push boundaries. I love you both and cannot wait for the expression on your face the first time I remind you, in the eyes of the Jewish community, I am an adult and should be treated as one. This Shabbat, may we stand together to create a more unified community. Shabbat Shalom.
Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu. So how was that for you?
Did not expect that.
Yeah, oh, cool. I can always expect the unexpected. Whenever we're in dialogue, I remember our first meeting together, and I laid out, here's the outline for your Devar Torah, and do you know what your response was?
It was so long ago.
Sounds fun.
Oh yeah! That's fun.
Was this fun? No, that's okay. It was meaningful though, right?
I asked my parents how it was like an hour ago.
That's fair. That's fair. But there's something about your life experience that I'm really unsure about, and that is you've achieved this amazing accomplishment in Dan. Did I say that right?
Tungsudo, yeah, done.
Dan. What's after that?
Well, there's 2nd degree black belt, 3rd degree black belt, 4th degree black belt, 5th degree black belt, 6th degree. It keeps going.
So, what do you think comes next after your bat mitzvah? Oh my goodness, you just got this look of panic on your face. Don't worry. There's a lot more to, the point is there's a lot more after this.
Well, I gotta stuff the joy jars.
Yes, you have to stuff the joy jars.
People better help me.
But more importantly, you have your entire life of living Judaism ahead of you. There's so much to learn, and there's so much that you can do to teach others. I kind of look at this moment of your becoming a bat mitzvah as the moment when the student becomes a teacher, because now you have gotten to a point where you know enough about what it means to become a bat mitzvah to teach others. And I know that you can do that in some really extraordinary ways through Tungsudo. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, Tungsudo. That's right.
Great. But also in your art.
Oh yeah. Forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, no, there's only so many minutes, and that's okay. You have skills that go far beyond what any of us have experienced in a small window of getting to know you. But whether we know you through school or Tungsudo or through your art or your family, and I hope you're feeling the pride and the love that is in this amazing sacred space, that however you encounter others, we know that we are going to have an unexpected experience that is going to make our lives richer. And in doing that, you are going to make the world a better place. And in all of our conversations, there's
an incredible teaching that I wanted to share with you. It's by a guy named Nkosi Johnson. And he was one of those young kids who unfortunately was diagnosed with leukemia, and he, similarly to how you spoke about kids who just need that little hand up and that little extra help. And he said this, he said, do as much as you can with the time that you have in the place that you are. Do as much as you can with the time that you have in the place that you are. You want to guess how many words that was? I'm going to tell you. 18.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot. But 18, as you know, is a very important number in Jewish life because it represents chai, it represents life. So my blessing for you is that you continue to bring life into everything you do. Whether it's the works of your hands, the works of your words, the way you teach and inspire others. May you continue to do as much as you can with the time that you have in the place that you are, because all of us will be the beneficiaries of that blessing that you offer. So I'm going to ask Rabbi Navarez to join me as we stand and bestow upon you our tradition's most ancient blessing, the priestly blessing. Thank you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lach shalom.
May God's presence ever be with you, Gabrielle. May you be granted health and long life, the courage to fill it with much joy, with much blessing, and always peace. As we say, Amen.
Amen.
This time I'd like to call upon one of the members of our board, Natanya Cranford, to present some gifts.
Shabbat Shalom, good
Shabbat
afternoon. I'm Natanya Cranford, one of the newest members of our board, so this is my first time. It's been quite a while since I've been to an afternoon Shabbat service, and it's been such a delight. I'm really honored to celebrate this special day with you, with your mom and dad, with your brother Max. So when I heard about your mitzvah project, and you spoke about it so eloquently already, I was just so moved. I mean, you're not just bringing joy to the hospitalized children, but you're spreading the joy. You're making your friends and family join you, and you're going to make those joy jars together.
They better.
Okay, they will. I'm sure they will. So here we have some gifts for you. Let's see. First we have, there's quite a few. Your certificate. You've signed it, your parents have signed it, the clergy have signed it. It is a lovely certificate, one of many I'm sure that you'll be getting. Then next is a Kiddush cup, I think that's here, with candlesticks, presented by the women of Beth Israel. We hope that you use these very special and sacred items in your home to welcome Shabbat, other special holidays and milestones throughout your life. Let's see, we also have a book from the Men's Club. It's called On the Doorsteps of Your House. So this will be a useful resource for you as you begin your next chapter in Jewish living. And then in here, okay, also, there's more, a tree certificate. Signifies a tree has been planted in Israel in your honor of your bat mitzvah. So I'm not sure which tree it is.
But there's a lot.
There's a lot. You can just pick one if you want and then just declare it to be yours. Because here is a certificate from Nifty which will highly subsidize your trip to Israel or your one of many trips to Israel. It is an amazing place. So there's this. That's all. We know that this is just a beginning of your Jewish journey, and all your family at Beth Israel looks forward to having you not just as an active participant, but an active contributor to our community. Mazel tov to you and to your entire family.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We begin to conclude this beautiful service as we join together for the Aleinu on page 282, and invite you to please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teis gedula le'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
As we remain standing, we turn our thoughts and return to page 294 as we turn our thoughts to those who are no longer physically with us, but those who continue to live on in our hearts and in our memories. And in this moment, we're especially mindful of Gabrielle's family and those that continue to remember in blessing. As we join together for those ancient words, as we say, Yitzgadal v'yitzgadash shmei Rabbah. Be'alma tivrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Israel. Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'reichu. La'elam mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav, u'ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories ever continue to inspire and be for blessing as together we say, amen. I'd invite you to put your prayer books down as we're going to call the immediate family to join us on the bima as we begin to create an end to Shabbat known as Havdalah. And when we make a mavdil in our tradition, we make a distinction between that which is kodesh, which is holy, and that which is the everyday. And so we have three elements that help us transcend this time and bring us into the week that is upon us. The best, we first will say the Kiddush, reminding us the sweetness of this moment will stay on our lips as we sip the Kiddush wine. The Besamim, the varied spices that are in here help revive us and also fill that voided mystical soul Shabbat departs, and the Eish, the candle, that we kindle to recognize the onset of Shabbat, we also light and extinguish to recognize its ending. But always we're reminded each time we kindle that creation is a possibility and is always there for us if we choose to adhere to it. And so we will join together. I invite you to place your arms around those near you that you're comfortable with, to do so. As we join together, all of our prayers will be on the screens to our right and our left.
El Yeshuati Eftach V'lo Echad Ki Ozi V'zimratia Adonai Vayehi li Yeshua Ushavtem Mayim B'sason Mimayne HaYeshua Adonai HaYeshua Amcha V'iraten HaSelah Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri agafen borei peri agafen ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei v'samim borei minei v'samim ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei me'orei ha'esh borei me'orei ha'esh la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamavdil ben kodesh lehol Hamavdil ben kodesh lehol
That was not great, Jude.
Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol Chatotenu imchol Zareinu v'chaspeinu iyar bekachol והכוכבים בלילה, שבוע טוב, Shavua Tov, Shavua Tov, Shavua Tov. A good week, a week of peace. May gladness reign and joy increase. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agiladi, Bimera Veyamenu, Yavo Eleinu, Imashiach ben David, Imashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agiladi.
May this be a week of peace, of joy, of blessing, of celebration. We say Shavua Tov,
Shavua Tov,
and Mazel Tov.
Mazel
And Mazel
Tov.
Tov.
Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agiladi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agiladi, Imera Oyavo Eleinu Mashiach, Mashiach ben David, Bimera Oyavo Eleinu Mashiach, Mashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agilad, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agilad, Bimera Oyavo Eleinu Mashiach, Mashiach ben David, Bimera Oyavo Eleinu Mashiach, Mashiach ben David.